the meaning of good health and well-being. This should be also part of the organic intellectuals learning thing, because each society there is an idea about what is good health, how to sustain the good health, and how to prolong the good health. This is again important that the people, the older population, because increasingly our communities are becoming more aged and they live longer. So the expectancy of life expectancy is increasing, but that need to be sustained through lifestyle, through food, nutritious food, social support, and also activities which are suitable for the older population, both intellectual, physical, and also to keep alive both men and women. So this is an area maybe farmers, our movement has to look into. How to sustain the older population, what activities, what support for them, in the broader sense of health and promoting health and well-being, both men and women. So this is another observation I have. Maybe in future, probably this is one of the elements we can look into it. And I mean, the most striking message I heard is that there's a covenant with the people and the environment. And the sustainable development is rediscovering that. The modern development process actually destroyed this covenant between people and the environment. So this is the one thing we have to look at it as part of our discourse on development. And finally, what I want to say is that our discussion, our discourse, or agenda for the development is mostly from the development of larger corporations, larger institutions, larger networks. But we also have to bring forward the idea of small farmers' life, small farmers' experience. So giving a shape for the small farmers, small family farming, as a counterpoint towards the development process happening globally. So can we create this discourse of family farming, organic farming, and can we strengthen that and the idea behind it? And probably this has to be strengthened by organic intellectual. So this community leadership building is an important part of it, and this needs to be sustained and also networked, because the power of network is the one way to deal with the onslaught of social media in the larger sense. And also I noticed that we are utilizing the power of social media to spread the information about the product sale, and also the activities, the grouping. So maybe we have to reinvent the social media from the point of view of small farmers. We have to invent the strength of the social media from a small scale operation point of view. So how do we utilize the strength of social media to promote this alternative discussion? So this is another potential of the PLDP program. But again, most importantly, I would say that the PLDP message, how do we amplify it? How do we make this voice heard larger space? How do we give new meaning for the PLDP program? When we say people-led development program, can we give more definition of that from our own point of view? The one definition is that people-led development process is recreating the covenant between population and the environment. That's one way I heard that. Similarly, you have to rediscover the meaning in a new way. And again, I conclude saying that people's wisdom and the idea of spirituality in the new way of ecology as part of the spirituality, and the practice-oriented, and most importantly, shifting the emphasis on development to the people, and shifting the emphasis on the production for the people, not necessarily for the industrial production. Agriculture was traditionally producing for the immediate surrounding and their own people, but now agriculture is increasingly producing for the industrial process, even for producing fuel for that. Instead of digging the fuel from underground, we create corn for them for creating fuel. So that way, the food production is not necessarily eating anymore, for surviving anymore, nourishing anymore. So this is a one factor. There are very few forces in the society who can challenge that kind of process and give an alternative to that. The food is for the people. Food production is for the people. That's the primary responsibility. We know that there are subsidies for the chemical fertilizer, But at the same time, there is not much subsidy for the organic fertilizer. This is one thing. And second thing, generally there is understanding that rural sector has to migrate to this urban sector. This is an understanding understood globally. But is it necessary? Because COVID pandemic, one lesson people learned is that city can destroy you, city can betray you, and then you have to go back to your roots in the villages. Thousands of people went back to the village during the COVID time. The city didn't give them a protection, whereas the rural villages gave them a protection. So this has a historical knowledge we have to keep in mind. The cities are contributing towards dehumanization process. So how do we rehumanize through focusing on rural lifestyle? So, and I'm not saying that everything about the rural lifestyle is good. That also needs to be revised, reevaluated, and examined in the context of people-centered development process. And thank you, and it was a great learning opportunity for me. I thank all of you to facilitate my visit, and also this is a beginning of